C onwards, that is page number 7. Take out page number 7. Okay, and please write it down in your books only because it is one word answer. So you can write it down on your books and do the descriptive type in your notebooks. Okay, you have to do the descriptive types in your notebooks, and this one word you can write in your books. So, yes, now we will discuss the third one. Okay, third one, that is the C. We have discussed A and B. A is leucoplasts and B is anthocyanins. Okay, now C, the orange-red pigment found in the chromoplast. Can anyone answer?
Carotene.
Carotene.
Yes, carotene. Carotene is the right answer. Okay, write it down. The orange-red pigment found in the chromoplast is carotene. C-A-R-O-T-E-N-E. Okay, then D, scattered Golgi complex found in plant cells. What are Golgi complex found in plant cells known as? Can anyone answer?
Dictosomes.
Yes, dictosomes is the right answer. In plant cell, Golgi complexes are known as dictosomes. So you can write dictosomes there. Okay, dictosomes. Then E, amoeboid blood cells of human body. What cells are amoeboid in cell?
WBC.
Yes, WBC, white blood cells is the right answer. Okay, so write it there, write down WBC. Okay, amoeboid shape कौन दिखाता है? WBC. Then F, the smallest cell of human body. Which is the smallest cell?
Sperm. RBC.
RBC. RBC is the smallest cell. Okay. Write down RBC. Then bean-shaped cells of stomata.
Guard cell. Guard cell.
Yes,
Guard
guard
cell.
cells. Guard cells. Write down guard cells. Then the part of cytoplasm which is devoid of the organelles.
Cytosol.
Yes, write it down. Then the folds or the finger-like projections from inner wall of the mitochondria.
Stay.
Cristae.
Cristae. Write it down, cristae. Then J is the tubules of Golgi complex.
Golgi apparatus. Cisternae.
Cisternae, yes. It's not Golgi apparatus. The tubules of Golgi complex are also known as cisternae. Okay, so write cisternae. Then descriptive type B. Okay, define the following terms: cell, organelles. Okay, so you write the page numbers there and then you can write it down in your notebooks later. Okay, not now. You can write it down later in your notebooks. You can mark the page numbers now. Okay, so first, that is a cell. So how can we define cell? That is page number. Yes. So that the first box you can see on page number 1. Okay, so there is no such particular definition in your book. These are all characteristics given here. So you can write, okay, I'll define cell right now. You can write it down that cells are found in the body of every organism. Okay, the cells are found in body of every organism and performs specific functions. Okay, cell, how can we define cell? Cell is found in the body of every organism and it performs specific functions. Okay, then you can write the characteristics also. If it is if it is asked in 2 marks or 3 marks, you can write these characteristics, which is given in page number 1. All living beings are made up of cells. The cell is the structural and functional unit of the body. Okay, all cells are basically alike in chemical composition. All living beings arise from a pre-existing cell. All these 4 points you can write if the question is asked in 2 marks or 3 marks. Okay. So if it is only for 1 marks, you can write just the definition, that is, cell is present in all living organisms and has specific functions and performs specific functions. Then organelles. How can we define organelles?
Page number.
I'll give you a simpler definition of organelle. Okay, just a minute. Okay, cell organelles. Cell organelles are also known as little organs. Okay, they can be said as little organs. Why? Because these organs contain cell organelles, right? Our body is made of cells. Then it forms group of cells which is known as tissue. Okay, then tissues further develop and form what? Organs. Okay, and these organs produce organ systems, and then at last a human body or a final organism is produced. Okay, so cell organelles are nothing but small shaped. Write it down. Cell organelles are small shaped. Okay, definite shaped with definite structure and a definite function. Cell organelles are known as organs. You can write cell organelles are known as little organs and have a definite shape, a definite structure, and a definite function. Okay. Is this definition easy?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can write it down. Cell organelle. Okay. Well, if you are asked what is an organelle, you can write organelles are little organs which have a definite shape, a definite structure, and a definite function. Right? So organelle we can write organelle as this much by giving its shape, size, and function. So organelle is clear. You can write in your textbook for now, and then you have to write it in your notebook also later. Or you can write in your notebook also right now. Okay, so we have defined cell and organelles. Now what is cytoplasm? So you can mark cytoplasm is in your book. You can mark that is
Page number
3. Okay, page number 3. You have this table, that is main characteristics and chief functions. Okay. Or you can, yeah, you have it in your page number 7 also. That is above the questions, that green box, resume of the chapter. So in that last point is cytoplasm. So you can underline that and write answer number C of B, like descriptive type. You can, or you can write in front of cytoplasm, page number 7, resume of the chapter. You can give an arrow upwards. Okay. You found where is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So cytoplasm is the living part of a cell inside the cell membrane, but excludes the nucleus. Cytoplasm and nucleus together constitute the protoplasm. Okay. So write this one. If cytoplasm is asked, then write this one. Okay. Then protoplasm. So protoplasm is also the same. Okay. That is in that cytoplasm portion, the second part, the second sentence, that is cytoplasm and nucleus together constitute the protoplasm. Okay, so what is protoplasm? Cytoplasm and nucleus together forms the protoplasm. So protoplasm is the mixture of cytoplasm and nucleus. Okay, you got the answer in that green box only, last point. Okay, second sentence. You got the answer?
Yes.
Yes, just Abhi, just mark it down for right now. Mark it down, and then you can write it down in your notebook also. So then fifth, that is E, nucleus. So nucleus is also there in that green box. It is the specialized central part of a cell that controls the activities of cell and contains the chromosomes having genes. A cell with its nucleus removed dies soon. Okay, write that whole para. Okay, write that full sentence, the whole para. Nucleus se lekar soon tak. Okay, from nucleus to soon, you have to write that when nucleus is asked. Okay. Then second, distinguish between the following pairs, that is plant cell and animal cell. You have it in your book, I guess. Okay,
Page
this
number
one.
5.
Yes, page number 5. Distinguish differences between plant cell and animal cell. So you can write a plant cell and animal cell. In front of that, you write page number 5, table 1.2. Okay, so write these differences in your notebook. Okay, you can write any 5 of them. Okay, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there are 7. You can write 5 differences. Okay, the main 5 differences you can write. Then difference between cell wall and cell membrane. Do you know what is the difference between cell wall and cell membrane?
Page
That's
number
also, yes, page number 3. Okay, characteristics of cell membrane and cell wall are given. So what is cell membrane? It is the outermost in animal cell. Okay, and what is cell wall? Okay, cell wall is present in plant cells only. Okay, and it is outermost in plant cells. You understand? Cell membrane is outermost in animal cell. Okay, and cell wall is outermost in plant cell. Okay, and in plant cell, cell membrane comes under the, or yes, comes inside the cell wall. Okay, so outermost is the cell wall in plant cells. Okay, and also there is one more difference. Cell membrane is, what is the permeability of cell membrane? It is semi-permeable. And if we talk about cell wall, it is freely permeable. Okay, and if you want to write one more point, you can write their composition. That is, cell membrane is made of what? It is made of lipoproteins, and cell wall is made of cellulose. So three differences are there. That is, one on permeability, one on composition, and one on their occurrence in the cell. Okay, where do they occur in the cell? So occurrence, if we consider occurrence, you can write outermost in animal cell, which is cell membrane, okay, and cell wall outermost in plant cell. Okay, and then you can write permeability difference, which is cell membrane is semi-permeable, cell wall is freely permeable. Then you can write on composition, that is cell membrane made of lipoproteins and cell wall made of cellulose. Then the next one, centrosome and chromosome. What is the difference between centrosome and chromosome? Just a minute. Yes, you can take page number 4. That is that in that table centrosome is given. Okay. So a centrosome contains 1 or 2 centrioles. You can write that centrosome contains 1 or 2 centrioles. And then what could be chromosome? What is a chromosome? Chromosomes are very small units inside the nucleus. Okay. So if difference between chromosome and centrosome is asked, you have to write chromosome are the small units inside the nucleus. Okay. And what is centrosome? Centrosome is a region which surrounds the nucleus and has 1 or 2 centrioles. This is the main difference. Okay. Chromosome is present inside the nucleus and are very small and discrete units. Okay. But centrioles surrounds the nucleus. Okay. It's not inside the nucleus. It surrounds the nucleus and has 1 or 2 centrioles. That is additional. You can write that also. Then chloroplast and chromoplast, the last one. Okay. In this, we can give the difference of color. Okay. Chloroplast is What color is chloroplast? Green color. Okay. And chromoplast have two pigment in the inside it, that is xanthophyll and keratin. This xanthophyll gives orange red color, sorry, yellow color, and keratin gives red red and orange color. So you can write the difference considering the color. Okay, what color they impart. So chloroplast gives green color and chromoplast gives, you can write chromoplast have two pigments, which is xanthophyll and keratin. Xanthophyll gives yellow one and keratin gives red orange. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So also you can write function also, that chloroplast, what does chloroplast do? It absorbs solar energy, traps solar energy for the process of what? For giving green color. Okay, for process of photosynthesis. Okay, it traps solar energy. Okay, but the main difference is on the base based on the color. Okay, we have already told chloroplast green in color, chromoplast contains two pigment, xanthophyll and keratin. Xanthophyll is yellow, keratin is red orange. Okay, am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this chapter is over. If you have any doubt, you can ask right now, and then we'll go to the next chapter. Okay, we have time. We are moving to the next chapter. If you don't have any doubt, we will move to the next chapter, or we'll clear the doubt first. Any doubt? Okay, I guess no one have a doubt. So we'll move to the next chapter, that is structure of chromosome, cell cycle, and cell division. Okay, now the chapter which we have completed, you have to write the descriptive type questions in the notebook. Don't write everything, only the descriptive type, in which you have to write the definition and you have to distinguish between both. Okay, so write that in your notebook and you have to submit it in your assignments taskbar in your Moodle app. Okay, so I'll let you know when you have to submit. Okay, now we'll move to the next chapter, which is Unit 1 Basic Biology, Structure of Chromosomes, Cell Cycle, and Cell Division. Okay, so let us read this paragraph which is given on your left. Okay, page number 8, that box. I'm going to read that. Cell division is one of the most fundamental characteristics of life. This is the method which enables life to perpetuate generation after generation. Okay, just a minute. Yes. So cell division is is the most fundamental characteristic of life. What is meant by fundamental? That is the main characteristic of life. Okay, cell division is the main characteristic of life. Okay, if I am saying the meaning of something, write it down. Okay, underline fundamental and write main characteristics. Okay, then this is the method which enables life. Enables means that makes life possible. Okay, which initiates life, that makes life as a possible one. Okay, to perpetuate generation after generation. Perpetuate means that to continue with generation after generation. Okay, the cell division enables life. Okay, it starts life, it makes life possible. Okay, and it continues generation to generation. Okay, this is equally true in the case of the simplest organisms like amoeba, as is in the highly complex ones such as ourselves or the giant-sized elephants or the tall coconut tree. Okay, it is equally true in everything, like if it's a tall coconut tree or it's we human beings or it's a small amoeba, it is very equally true in every organism in the earth. Okay, cell division happens in every organism. Okay, whether it's small, whether it's big. Okay, every organism goes through cell division. So the most conspicuous events occurring during cell divisions are all related to chromosomes. Okay, that is conspicuous means that is which are clearly visible. Okay, there are visible events which occur during cell division. Okay, and all these visible events are related to what? Are related to chromosomes. Okay, the duplicate chromosomes get evenly distributed into the daughter cells during mitosis. So you have learned mitosis somewhere. You know what is mitosis? Anyone? Okay, have you learned mitosis somewhere before? I guess you have not learned. Okay, I'll tell what mitosis is. Mitosis is that division in which the division which results to two daughter cells. Okay, two daughter cells are produced, each having same number and kind of chromosomes. Okay, in mitosis, what happens is it gives results in which two daughter cells are produced. Okay, having same number and kind of chromosome. That is, the kind of chromosome and the number of chromosomes are same in both the daughter cells. Okay, and cell division in two genetically identical daughter cell. Okay, cell जो है that divides into two genetically identical daughter cells. Okay, so that is mitosis. So here it is said the duplicated chromosomes get evenly distributed into the daughter cells during mitosis. Thus, all body cells that are the result of a long chain of repeated mitotic divisions have the same type of chromosomes in the same number. Okay, during mitosis, every cell which is undergoing cell division have the same type, the same kind and the number of chromosome. Okay, there are two daughter cells are produced. Okay, both have same kind and number of chromosomes. That is mitosis. Okay. Thus, all body cells that are the result of long chain repeated mitotic divisions have the same type of chromosomes in the same number. This ensures the normal functioning of the cells and through that the life of the organism. What does this ensure? Okay, this tells what? That this ensures that the cell functions normally. Okay, through the entire life of that organism. Okay. Okay, for a better understanding of cell cycle and cell division, the author had discussed the structure of chromosomes first. Okay, so now we are going to talk about what is chromosome, what are chromosomes. When a normal unstained living cell is observed under a light microscope, its nucleus may not appear to contain any particular thing inside. But when the same cell is stained with suitable dyes, several structures becomes noticeable in the nucleus. Okay, when we try to see a nucleus, okay, under a microscope, under a compound microscope, sometimes we cannot see the chromosomes. Okay, we cannot see the arrangement. Why? Because it's very transparent in color and we need to stain that first. So there are some stains used in laboratories. I can give you two names which are mostly used. Okay, you can write it down if it's not in your textbook. I think it's not in your textbook, and if it's there, no, it's not there. So you can write it down. Okay, what are chromosomes? Okay, in that paragraph you write, okay, side mein likho iodine and eosin. Iodine and eosin, iodine, iodine, and eosin, eosin. Okay, both these stains are used to stain or to color the nucleus which is going to be viewed under the microscope. Okay, so these stain help us to view more clearly and more distinctly. Okay, so iodine is basically blue colored. You can write that also. Iodine gives blue color and eosin is red colored. Okay, the nucleus contains, yes, the nucleus contains most of the cell's DNA, which is organized into discrete units called chromosomes. Okay, chromosomes, as we have talked earlier, that as we have said earlier, chromosomes are very small units present inside the nucleus. Okay, so basically it contains what? It contains DNA. Please underline that sentence. The nucleus contains most of the cell's DNA, which is organized into discrete units called chromosomes. So chromosomes is basically what? Small units present inside the nucleus, okay, which contains its DNA. Each chromosome contains one long DNA molecule associated with many proteins. Okay, each chromosome contains one DNA molecule, okay, which is associated with many proteins. Okay, the DNA which is present in the chromosome is associated with proteins. Okay, you can see in the structures given in your book, that is on page number 9, and yes, on page number 9 there's one structure. Okay, the DNA molecules are associated with what? Proteins. This complex of DNA and proteins is called the chromatin. Okay, when this DNA and protein forms a complex means a figure, okay, that is simpler to complex, we say na, say from simple to complex substance, like that. When this DNA and protein form a complex, a figure, okay, this figure is known as chromatin, or the structure is known as chromatin. Okay, so you have already learned in 9th class that nucleus contains chromatin fibers. Okay, chromatin consists of DNA, and then chromatin are long thread-like structures. You have studied in 9th standard, right? So this complex of DNA and proteins is known as chromatin. When a cell is not dividing, the chromatin under an electron microscope appears to be in the form of a very long and extremely thin, darkly stained fiber. Okay, so if we examine a cell under a microscope, and at that point of time, if the cell is not dividing, if it is not in the stage of dividing itself, then this chromosome is visible in the form of what? Long thread-like structures. Okay, can be seen as very long and extremely thin structures. Okay, stained fibers. So it is when the cell is not dividing. Okay. However, as a cell prepares to divide, the chromatin fibers coil and condense further, eventually becoming thick enough to be distinguished as separate chromosomes. Okay, so what it is written here? What is written? That when a cell starts to divide, these chromatin fibers coil themselves and form a thick fiber. Okay, a thick fiber which are further distinguished as separate chromosomes. Okay, these chromatin fibers further distinguish into separate chromosomes during cell division. And if cell division is not occurring, these fibers appear as long thin fibers. Okay, but if cell is dividing condition, if cell is in dividing condition, these chromatin fibers coil up and they form a thick material, a thick surface, and is distinguished as, or is known as, separate chromosomes. These chromosomes then readily pick up certain dyes and get colored, hence the name chromosomes. Okay, these chromosomes, what they do, they just pick up certain dyes and that gets colored automatically, and hence their name is chromosome. That is, chroma means colored, soma means body. Okay, that is what is a chromosome? A colored body. Okay, chromosome are highly coiled and contains chromatin fibers. Okay, so what is a what a chromosome can be defined as? These are colored bodies. Okay, chromosome is a colored body. Then discovery of chromosomes. Now discovery, okay, you are underlining what I am saying. Are you underlining? Priyadarshana, Kanishka, Tanisha,
Yes,
are you
ma'am.
underlining? Yes. Please underline these things, okay, which I am highlighting, okay, like the nucleus contains most of the cell's DNA, which is organized into discrete units called chromosomes. Okay, underline that. Then the DNA molecules are associated with many proteins. In that paragraph only, it is there. DNA molecules are associated with many proteins. Okay, and this complex of DNA and proteins is known as what? Chromatin. And then when the cell is okay, then you have to understand this. When cell is not in a dividing condition, when the cell is not dividing, this chromosome appears long and thin. Okay, long and thin fibers. And when the cell is dividing, when it's in dividing condition, these chromosomes get coiled up. Okay, they just cut and this they get coiled up further, and then they are distinguished as separate chromosomes. Okay, these chromatin are given the name of separate chromosomes. Okay, and these chromosomes then pick up some certain dyes from the surroundings, gets colored, and then this name arises chromosomes. Chromo means colored, soma means body. So chromosomes are colored bodies. Am I clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so underline these things which I am saying. Okay, then 2.2 discovery of chromosomes. Chromosomes in animals were first studied in 1882 by German scientist Walter Fleming. Okay, underline Walter Fleming, 1882. Underline that. Okay, so Walter Fleming first studied chromosomes in 1882. He noticed these in the rapidly dividing cells of the larvae of salamander. Okay, a salamander, which is an amphibian. He noticed these chromosomes in the larvae of a salamander. Okay, larvae means the egg. Okay, so he noticed uh, he noticed these dividing cells. These cells, that is, what are these dividing cells? The chromosomes. Okay, he noticed the chromosomes in the larvae of a salamander, which is an amphibian. Okay, the microscope he used was of old type, and through it he saw minute threads that appeared to be dividing lengthwise. Okay, so he used a microscope which was old, and he saw minute threads, okay, which was dividing in length. Okay, these threads were dividing lengthwise, not widthwise. Okay, Fleming called their division mitosis, literally meaning thread. Okay, so he called this division as mitosis. So he named it as mitosis. Subsequently, with the help of more powerful microscopes and by using special techniques, the chromosomes and their constituents have been studied in great detail. Okay, so further, by using different microscopes and different magnificated microscopes, chromosomes were studied further. So here is a diagram given condensation of chromatin fibers into chromosome during mitotic prophase. Okay, so you can see in the initial stage, there are three diagrams. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So in the initial stage, the cell is not dividing. Okay, it's not in dividing condition. So the chromatin fibers look like thread-like structures. Okay, with strained thread-like fibers. Okay, then in the second one, it starts dividing. Okay, and in the third one, it is properly divided into chromosomes. Okay, it is properly divided into chromosomes, and these chromosomes are colored by the surrounding dyes. Okay, so you can, it's very clear with this diagram that during the cell division, these fibers, these chromatin fibers eventually forms or distinguish into chromosomes. Okay, and when cell division is not occurring, these are only long and thin fibers. Then 2.3, which is chromatin. The chromatin material that constitutes the fiber is formed of two substances. Okay, we have already seen what is the chromatin. Chromatin is the complex of DNA and proteins, right? So eventually when we study chromatin, it consists of what? DNA and proteins. Here it is given DNA and histones. And what is a histone? It is a type of protein. So similarly, we can, as we said, DNA and proteins mix up and form chromatin. So here DNA and histones, which is a type of protein, is the constituent of chromatin. So if you are asked what are the constituents of chromatin, you have to write DNA and histones, and in bracket you have to write histones. What is histone? A type of protein. Okay, so there is the composition, the actual composition, the amount is given, like chromatin fiber में कितना DNA होता है, it's given there. DNA is about 40% and histones, that is proteins, is about 60%. Okay, 60% protein and 40% DNA. Underline that. Okay, DNA 40%, histones, that is protein, 60%. Now, first point, that is molecular structure of DNA. The shape of the DNA molecule was first studied by Rosalind Franklin in 1953. However, the structure was finally worked out by Watson and Crick. When we study DNA, usually we say the names Watson and Crick. Okay, we use these names because they actually formed the structure. Okay, but the shape of the DNA molecule, who gave that? Rosalind Franklin. Okay, Rosalind Franklin gave the shape of the DNA, but the structure, there is difference between the shape and structure. Shape is the external thing of a material, but the structure is everything which comes in inside also. Okay, so the shape was given by Rosalind Franklin and the structure was finally worked out by Watson and Crick. Underline that. Watson and Crick gave the structure of DNA molecule. If you are asked who gave the structure of DNA molecule, just write Watson and Crick. Okay. And the year was same, that is 1953. They proposed the double-stranded helical structure of DNA, for which they were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1962. Okay, what they did, they worked out the final structure. They proposed a double-stranded, okay. The DNA structure which they proposed was a double-stranded structure. Double-stranded means the DNA molecule had double strands, two strands. Okay, what is a strand? That is a thread-like structure. Okay, you can see in the diagram, that is, that red one is one strand and the blue one is second strand. So if you, for your understanding, you can mark there, that is red one you can mark one strand and the blue one second strand. So there are two strands. So it is known as double-stranded. Okay. So they proposed a double-stranded helical structure. Helical means helix, that is a coiled structure. Okay. Helical means a coiled structure. You can see in the diagram, this is a coiled structure, right? These are crossing each other. So it is a coiled structure. So like this is like this, it's going like this. Okay. So you have you seen a ribbon or a spring? A spring is coiled, right? So similarly, like a spring, this DNA structure they gave was double-stranded helical structure. Okay, helical means coiled. And for that, they were awarded the Nobel Prize in 1962. Okay. Now, a single DNA molecule is very large and hence it is described as a macromolecule. So if we consider a single DNA molecule, okay, here it is a double strand, but if a single DNA molecule, if we consider, then it's very large and is described as a macromolecule. Macro means big. So a single DNA structure is a big molecule. It is composed of two complementary strands wound around each other in a double helix. So as we can see in the diagram, okay, two complementary strands. That is, complementary means one is given in red color, one is in blue color. Okay, two different strands. Okay, they are arranged helically, coiled in a coiled manner. Okay, and in a they are known as double helix because there are two strands used here. Okay, two strands are there. Isliye they are known as double helix. Each single DNA strand is composed of repeating nucleotides, which are made of three components: phosphate, sugar arranged lengthwise, and a nitrogenous base attached to the sugar inwards, which extends to join hydrogen bond the complementary nitrogenous base from the other strand. Okay, so each single DNA consists of what? Repeating nucleotides. Okay, there are three nucleotides present here: phosphate, sugar, and nitrogenous bases. Okay, so the three nucleotides are phosphate, sugar, and nitrogenous bases. Okay, so these three nucleotides, phosphate and sugar, that is togetherly known as pentose, is arranged in the lengthwise direction. Okay, is arranged lengthwise, and nitrogenous bases are arranged widthwise. Okay, as you can see in the diagram, lengthwise AT, TA, GC. In the diagram, you can see CG. These are arranged lengthwise. Okay. Yes. So, which extends to join the complementary nitrogenous base from the other strand. Thus, the two strands together make a ladder-like arrangement. Okay, you can see in the diagram, these strands is making a ladder-like arrangement. You can see ATTA, this is forming a ladder. Okay, so the arrangement is ladder-like, with the nitrogenous bases forming the rungs of the ladder. 4 types of nitrogenous bases are found in the DNA. So we have said phosphate and sugar, they are in the lengthwise direction, and the nitrogenous bases are in the inside with joints to form ladder-like structures. Now there are 4 types of nitrogenous bases which are used here: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. You can see adenine is A and thymine is T, guanine G, cytosine C. So adenine pairs with thymine and with 2 hydrogen bonds, while guanine pairs with cytosine with 3 hydrogen bonds. So you can see in the diagram, adenine is pairing with what? With thymine, okay? With the nitrogen base thymine, adenine is pairing with how many bonds? With 2 bonds. You can see in the diagram there are 2 bonds, okay? You can see between A and T there are 2 hydrogen bonds, okay? Hydrogen bonds are denoted with the help of dots, okay? Dotted lines. So these dotted lines are hydrogen bonds, okay? So the thymine and adenine are paired with 2 hydrogen bonds, and above that you can see guanine and cytosine, they are paired with 3 hydrogen bonds, okay? 3 bonds are there, right? 3 dotted lines are there, okay? So you can see 3 hydrogen bonds, that is A, in your book it's given A 2 hydrogen bond T and G 3 hydrogen bond C, okay? So for today we'll stop here. If you have any doubt till now, you have to read this for 2 to 3 times, then only you can understand, because it's a material you have to learn, okay? You have to learn and understand. So try to read it once after this class is over, okay? During evening, just read it once, what I taught you. Just try to find out the difference somewhere. If there is a difference, just try to find out. If anyone has a doubt right now, they can ask, okay? The class is over. Anyone has a doubt?
Ma'am.
Yes, Priyadarshana, you have a doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, no. Okay. So you understood? So basically a DNA strand is a double helical structure. I am just repeating it once again. It's a double helical structure. It's a macromolecule. Okay. It consists of pentose, that is phosphate and sugar lengthwise, and inside it contains of nitrogenous bases. There are 4 nitrogenous bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. Okay. Adenine bonds with thymine, okay, with how many bonds? 2 hydrogen bonds. And guanine bonds with cytosine with how many bonds? 3 hydrogen bonds, okay. So in the diagram, you can see this diagram is mainly asked in your exams, okay. This diagram, every time they ask this diagram to draw the double helical structure of a DNA molecule, okay. So you have to draw this diagram, okay, 2 strands, and then this bonding, adenine thymine bonding and guanine cytosine bonding. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So just go through this once after this class is over, okay? During evening, you can go through this. And if you have any doubt, we can clear the doubt during the next class, okay? When is your next class? That is next Friday, next Thursday, right? So next Thursday, we will clear the doubts, okay? Just read it once. And if you have any doubt, we will clear the next class. Thank you, everyone. The class is over, okay?